Hey everybody, Neon here, doing a little bit of a different video right now. There's been a lot of drama on YouTube related to the Carlos Maza versus Steven Crowder versus YouTube itself drama that started about a week ago, and it's something I've been following very closely. I've been posting a lot about it on social media, and I think it's actually quite important. So I wanted to do a short video on it just because I kind of wanted to get a few things off my chest about it and feel like I did something about it. But this video has no gaming related content in it, so if you are somebody who's here just for the gaming related stuff, like, I don't blame you. You can take off. You're not going to miss anything. You don't have to care about my political opinions or YouTube related opinions. So just move along and don't worry about it. I'll see you in the next video. But for those of you who do want to hear a little bit about it, I think that this is a useful thing that is I like people to be informed about, because I think that it's important for the health of the platform. So to sort of summarize the drama of how things went down last week, Carlos, who is a journalist for Vox Media, he's somebody who puts out a series of videos called Strike Through that does media criticism related stuff, like talks about Fox News a lot, talks about like CNN a lot, basically describing like why the media ecosystem is broken in various ways and what's causing it. So I am actually a big fan of his from before this whole controversy started, and have been following his stuff for a little while now. But so that's, he put out a video last week. Steven Crowder, who is a conservative YouTuber, he put out a video that was a counter to the video that the strike through video that came out. This is something that he does regularly with Vox's stuff, particularly Carlos's stuff. And it's not so much that he has like objections to what it is that Carlos has to say or the ideas within the video. It's that frequently in these videos he makes comments about Carlos's sexuality and race in a derogatory fashion, and he's definitely made this into a pattern where he's like calling him like a lispy queer, or saying the only reason that you have a job is because you're gay, and he makes these kinds of comments in basically every video. And so last week, Carlos made a video that just showed like all of these chunks like back to back with one another to kind of show like this pattern of harassment that Steven Crowder has been engaging in, and shared that on Twitter and started a whole thread basically describing like this has been going on for a while, YouTube hasn't done anything about it, and that's bullshit. And so that's what really kicked everything off. There's been a lot of back and forth of what's happened over the course of the weekend, for example, and I'm not going to go through all that. Where things stand right now is Steven Crowder has been demonetized on YouTube. For people who aren't familiar with what that means, this might not be clear. Demonetized is very different than banned, for example, or like having your videos removed. Demonetized just means that you don't make money off of the ads that run on your videos. And most YouTubers, most big YouTubers, that's a very small percentage of their revenue. They make a lot more off of sponsorships, off of Patreon, of other promotions that they've run through their channels. So it's possible to run a YouTube channel like entirely demonetized, uninterrupted, and you could still support yourself quite easily. So Steven Crowder is not banned from the channel. His videos haven't been removed. It's just that he doesn't get ad revenue off of those, off of his channel right now. So that was like one consequence of it that happened last night. The other thing that happened is that YouTube itself made some comments describing their logic behind the situation. I want to read a couple paragraphs from this that I think are sort of problematic. The first one, as an open platform, we sometimes host opinions and views that many, ourselves included, may find offensive. This could include edgy stand-up comedy routines, a chart-topping song, or charged political rant, and more. Short moments from these videos spliced together paint a troubling picture, but individually they don't always cross the line. There is a few slight problems with this one. Like, one of them particularly is I think that the context of a edgy stand-up comedy routine or a chart-topping song or political rant are quite different, and the standards should be different for each of them in some respects. Like, kind of divorcing and removing that context from what's going on in the videos is harmful and really just kind of makes the platform really neutered in terms of what they can do. And like, deliberately, it feels as if some channels have made it opaque as to what exactly they are. Like, in some ways, they resemble a stand-up comedy routine or a political rant. In other ways, it's just kind of hate speech. So that's something that I find troubling as a formulation in this situation. The next paragraph is the one that people have been taking the most issues with, and I think that is the really big problem. There are two key policies at play here: harassment and hate speech. For harassment, we look at whether the purpose of the video is to incite harassment, threaten, humiliate an individual, or whether personal information is revealed. We consider the entire video. For example, is it a 2-minute video dedicated to going after an individual? A 30-minute video of political speech where different individuals are called out a handful of times? Is it focused on a public or private figure? For hate speech, we look at whether the primary purpose of the video is to incite hatred towards or promote supremacy over a protected group, or whether it seeks to incite violence. To be clear, using racist, racial, homophobic, or sexist epithets on their own would not necessarily violate either of these policies. For example, as noted above, lewd or offensive language is often used in songs and comedic routines. When the primary purpose of the video is hate or harassment, when videos violate these policies, we remove them. This function, or this framing has like two major issues. One, when you're saying like what is the purpose of something, like you're trying to frame it in that way, you're actually giving the creator an incredible amount of control, because they can kind of claim whatever purpose that they want. You don't have to, and it's hard to prove what somebody's purpose is behind something. The fact that this, and it also sort of excuses, sort of by accident, being harmful and hurtful and shitty to other people. It doesn't really matter what the purpose of the video is so much as what the cause of the video is, I feel. I mean, obviously this is an age-old ethics debate about whether or not you consider the motives or the results of your actions here, but this is very much throwing into the side of unless we can really prove that the purpose of the video is to be harassing or hateful, then it's not, that it doesn't qualify. That's messed up and gives way too much flexibility for people of various types. And particularly this makes it clear, it gives a bit of a roadmap to people who want to be shitty and hateful on YouTube, that they can follow. They say as long as the video has a credible argument that the purpose of the video was not to be hateful, but to discuss whatever, you can use whatever racist epithets you like. So calling somebody, F whatever, calling somebody N whatever, in the context of a political rant, as long as there's political rants going on about other things as well, it doesn't violate the policies, that's gross. And the reason why I think that this is particularly problematic is that this gives license for creators to target marginalized communities and in ways as long as they are threading this needle that has been laid out in this paragraph. You can target people, you can criticize their content, and including hateful rhetoric and harassing rhetoric in your comments and in your videos on the condition that it is not the only thing that you're talking about in the video. That's ridiculous, because if you take a part of that video, maybe that part of the video is really hateful, and that's just for example, if you could say there's a 2-minute clip that you ban that video that's part of a 30-minute video, then I feel like the whole 30-minute video should probably be banned then, right? The purpose of some of the comments is to be hurtful and hateful and harassing. So, you don't get to just dilute that away? I find that just bizarre and weird and crazy. So there's actually just a lot going on with this whole controversy that I think is insane, and that YouTube has managed very poorly. And I would like them to revisit it and to change things and find better ways to protect marginalized creators, because I think that this has given a lot of license to bad actors, that they could use this to turn on various people and make their lives difficult in ways that are not necessary. I also particularly want to talk about the broader idea of other people other than Steven Crowder who might violate this, like the way in which a variety of conservative thinkers will turn this around and say, it's like, hey, like, what about Samantha Bee, or what about Bob Maher, or whatever, whoever they don't like that week, and say like why do they get to keep their stuff up? Like, I'll be frank, like, I just don't give a shit whether they get to keep their stuff up there. Like, if particularly if like Samantha Bee's content gets demonetized, do not care at all. If Bill Maher's videos get removed from YouTube, like, that's fine by me. Like, even there's stuff that I do follow, like I follow Crooked Media's content a decent amount. I follow their podcasts and stuff like that. If their YouTube videos get removed, like, that's fine by me. If YouTube thinks that that's crossing the line, like that, if that's the cost of protecting the LGBTQ creators from certain kinds of abuse, like, that's fine. And I just like want to make that perfectly clear that I don't actually have a double standard. I just think that, like, if YouTube wants to protect people from deliberately harassing and hurtful comments, and particularly I would almost feel like the standard should be, if you maybe like using certain types of language, like specific words or intonations and references to specific words, and that the subject of this criticism or this like hateful comment doesn't like it, then it would be removed. Because I think that it's about the consequences much more than the purpose of it. And in a lot of cases, I mean, some people might say like, well, that just gives everybody free reign to claim whatever they want as being harassing. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think that there's a lot more room for protecting people from it, and that there's just less hateful rhetoric in society probably makes it a better place. But I don't know. There's a lot to be said on this, and I'll just kind of wrap it up because I'm obviously just like ranting in circles right now and such. But I just want to put that out there because I think that this is important, and I think that it's important for people to share their thoughts on this with YouTube, if kind of criticizing them if you think that they've made the wrong decisions, and give your thoughts as to what they would do better. Find various ways to leave them feedback, and I really just want to get this off my chest because it's been something I've been thinking a lot about and frustrated about over the last week since this controversy started, and so I just wanted to put that out there. But thank you so much for joining me, and back to our regular videos tomorrow.